Folks, welcome back. All right, you got me fed up. Today, I am going to break down the web of lies, strand by strand by strand. I'm going to attack every issue individually that you hear every single day on social media by content creators and commenters alike. And after all this is said and done, hopefully you'll stop buying in to all the fear, uncertainty, doubts, and just total nonsense. So the first one is going to be, Alex, these collectibles are way more speculative. They're way more risky than the financial markets or the crypto markets. You have to agree with that. Well, on Friday, one man with one policy single-handedly caused a sell-off, a massive correction across the entire stock market. Depending on what you were in, you were down 5, 10, 15, 20%. And the crypto markets, depending on what you were in, you were down 15, 20, 30, even 40+% on some of the coins. And that was just one announcement on one policy with one country over tariffs. Now, I checked my collector app the same day. No change. I checked my collector app a couple of days later. Now today, still not really any change. Therefore, one person can cause an entire sell-off, or should I say crash. I mean, if we're talking 30, 40% in a day, that's a crash with one announcement and one policy. But I've never seen one creator in Pokemon cause an entire market to do anything. Now, certainly creators can cause little pockets, right? A few cards or a few, items here or there in a video or a post or a rumor to move, within a few days or weeks' time. But never the entire market. It's too broad for one person in this hobby to affect the entire thing. But that's not true for the financial markets. So you tell me, in that situation, which one is more volatile? Look up the definition of volatility, and I think you'll have your answer. Enough said. Next, Alex, that's all fine and good, but you can't sell this stuff. It's so hard to sell it. It's so hard. There are consignment services now all across the hobby for sealed product and PSA 10 slabs alike that you can absolutely move out of in a very timely manner, getting full market, if not close to full market price for your items. Now, I'm not trying to argue that it's not the same click button, one button, and you could sell it like a stock or a crypto, which, by the way, if you guys didn't hear the news on Friday, some of the things were happening, like happened back with the GameStop era, where people were actually logging on their trading accounts, not going to mention any names, and they were trying to buy and sell, and it wasn't working for a period of time. Now, it wasn't a widespread issue. It didn't last very long, but there was actually a time where they literally could not get their money out of whatever equity or whatever crypto they were in. They were trying to buy it. They were trying to sell it. It wasn't working again, which, again, happened back in GameStop when everything was going haywire. But again, it's a small, minor thing. I'm not saying that's normal, but I do want to throw it out there. But yeah, of course, you can definitely get instant liquidity out of securities and crypto, 100%. However, to tell it like it's so hard to sell this stuff is either coming from people, again, trying to spread fear, uncertainty, and doubt, who are just so new to the hobby and have never sold before, have no idea what they're talking about, or maybe they've had a bad experience because they got unlucky or they did something wrong or they just honestly just didn't know what they were doing. Because I've been in this hobby a long time, guys. I've been selling online even longer. Never had an issue. Never had an issue selling anything. Always gotten out of everything when I want to get out of it. Most of these consignment services, if you're sending them high dollar items like $1,000 and more, you're going to get anywhere from 93 to 95% of what it sells for. That's all fees included. Meaning, all you have to do, all this work that everyone talks about, you pack everything up in a box, you slap your paperwork in there, you send it to the consignment service, they sell everything, they send you a big check at the end, you're done. That's it. And you're going to take home, depending on what you have, if you're listening to my content, you should have booster boxes, booster box cases, high-end PSA 10s. So you should have zero problem getting out of those cards near full market, or those boxes near full market or just under full market value at auction. And you're going to get 93 to 95% of the sales. If it's a little lower than 1,000, maybe you'll get 90% of the sale. And then people will say, yeah, but Alex, think about that. You're not even getting your full value. So the dollar, amount it's at, you're not actually getting that. It's not what it's worth. Okay, fine. So a box goes from $100 to $300 in a year and a half, and you're worried about taking 90% of that. But you'd rather be in a ETF or a mutual fund or an index fund for the last year and a half that what'd you make? 10, 20, maybe 30% if you're lucky. It's the wildest take I've ever heard trying to complain about a small amount of shipping and a small amount of fees when collectibles are outpacing other markets so exponentially that you barely notice the fees or the shipping. And by the way, anyone saying, yeah, but this stuff isn't liquid. It's not liquid because you're probably not doing it right. What are you listing it at? Higher than market? What are you trying to do? Run around to all these Facebook and Instagram groups trying to sell? What are you trying to go vend at a show? Just send it to some of the largest consignment services that sell on the largest platforms. And I promise you, put me to the test on this. I promise you your item will move. I promise you it'll go for near full market, if not full market. Sometimes it goes over full market value. And as long as you're sending high quality items, they're going to get bid on a lot. You're going to get a large percentage of the sale. You're going to have your money out. Yeah, it's not going to be a click of a button, but it's going to be relatively quickly. If you're at a point in your life where you're going to need money like tomorrow, you shouldn't be investing in this stuff anyway. If you can wait a couple weeks, you're going to have your money. It's that simple. Last thing. The taxes, Alex, but they get taxed. If you're that worried about taxes, one, go get a very good tax advisor. Set everything you're doing up in a way that's going to be tax advantage for you, whether it be setting up a company, LLC, whatever it may be, right? Taking advantage of anything else you can do with the income you're getting, like investing in more inventory, like investing it into accounts that aren't taxed, etc. Or here's a thought. You're going to get taxed on income wherever you make it. I get it. It's different tax rates. I understand that. However, we're splitting hairs here. Do you want to pay a little bit higher taxes on something that you're making hundreds of percent on? Or do you want to pay lower taxes on something you're making 10 or 20% on? This is the ridiculous notion that people get in their heads. They're literally stepping over $1 to pick up a nickel. They're like, yeah, but Alex, I'm only getting charged long-term capital gains on my mutual fund that I averaged 12% a year on. So I won. Really? Did someone ever teach you how to do math? So if I make, 300% on something and I pay, 30% taxes, who won? Who won? This is the mind trick that people online try to play is they try to scare you. Again, fear, uncertainty, and doubt on liquidity, on taxes, on volatility, all these things just cause you to be fearful. And it's like, let me ask you this. What do you think all of us are doing here? What do you think me and everyone else like me is doing investing in this stuff? You think we're all just losing money? You think we're all not making more than we could do somewhere? You can think whatever you want about me. You think everyone that invests in this is just that stupid that they haven't got the calculators out and did the math and they're just like, oh, wow, I should just throw all my money in a mutual fund because the taxes are so high. Jeez. Or I can't even sell this stuff. Why would I invest? It's like, is in people's minds that think everyone out there is just so damn stupid and some Timmy in the comment section has it all figured out? Ask yourself that question. Guys, any amount of taxes that you pay over what you would pay somewhere else does not outweigh the gains. Any shipping and fees you might pay does not outweigh the gains. The volatility is actually these days, in 2025, it could be argued that it's more volatile in some of these financial markets than it is in collectibles. And we could talk about multiple different instances of that. And so all in all, what are you really afraid of? I think at its core, people are just afraid to lose money. And they've been sold the lie that, oh, well, you won't lose money as long as you put it in the stock market, as long as you put it in Bitcoin, as long as you put it in X, Y, or Z place. But if you put it in Pokemon, it's basically lighting it on fire. And it's just like, but that's never been true in the history of the hobby. So, even when Pokemon was at its lowest stages back in mid-era, boxes were still worth money. If you would have bought when it came out at retail, you were down less than some of your most favorite stocks on Wall Street have been down at some point in their life cycle. Then some of your favorite cryptos have been down at some point in their life cycle. And so when people use ideas like that, they're like, well, yeah, Alex, but if you would have bought, something during 2021, then it was way down in 2022. okay, if you would have bought some of the best tech companies in the world at the top of the dot-com boom, and then at the bottom after the dot-com bubble crashed, you were down more than 40, 50, 60% on a lot of them. If you'd have bought Bitcoin at every high before it had its massive drop, you were down much more than 50% on your money. What are we discussing here? Don't get off the freaking roller coaster. Dollar cost average in. Hold long term. The last thing I wanted to talk about was this notion that I see it in my comment section, everyone's comment section. But Alex, you don't actually get the money until you sell. So you didn't technically make anything. Everyone that's done this seriously has sold at some point. I have been selling online for, 15 years now. I have bought and sold millions of dollars of collectibles at this point over the years. Okay? Always buying, always selling. Now, if you're talking about any long-term holdings I currently have or other people currently have, that is the equivalent of saying, well, yeah, but you don't actually make the money in your mutual funds until you sell. Your 401k isn't actually worth that until you take the money out. Yeah, no one in their 20s, 30s, 40s, which is what most of the people ages are that watch this channel. Shout out to everyone that is younger and older out there. Appreciate all of you. But the majority of the demographic is 20s to 40s on this channel. Nobody is selling their long-term investments in their 20s, 30s, and 40s because they're not near the retirement age. Why would you sell off your investments this early? I understand it's like a gotcha moment for some people. Like, yeah, but you didn't sell yet. It's like, again, maybe I'll do a video on this. Maybe I will do a video and I will just take like one of a bunch of items, bunch of boxes, bunch of cards, cases, and I'll do a video filling everything out, shipping them to a consignment services, letting some of it all sell just to prove a point that it's extremely easy to get your money when you want it. Just pick your favorite consignment service, pack it up, fill out the paperwork, send it to them. Things will sell, maybe some have to get relisted. You'll have all your money in 2, 3, 4 weeks, and you'll be looking back at all those stupid comments you wrote and all these different things you've heard and think, wow, I was being really stupid. I can't believe I was listening to that person. I can't believe I actually said those things. I guess it isn't as crazy as everyone acts like it is. It's not. And I know some people are going to say, Alex, why do you have to make this video and respond to all these idiots? Because it's not a couple idiots anymore. It is a ton of people all across all social media platforms, content creators and commenters alike. And they are literally buying into this belief that it's so volatile and risky in this stuff. And, oh man, there's taxes. Oh man, there's fees and shipping. It's almost not even worth it. Yeah, it's not worth it to make hundreds of % gains to pay a percentage in fees, shipping, and taxes. That's not worth it. You know what's more worth it? To save a little bit of taxes and save a little bit of fees and only make 10 or 15% a year in a fund. That's what's worth it. My head hurts, guys. That's all I got today. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm out.